Peace y'all, I am ICC and welcome to the 5-minute review series. In this episode, we will take a look at Super Spike V-Ball. This is a volley game that was released on the NES in 1990, developed by Technos, the same company that brought you Double Dragon, Super Dodgeball, River City Ransom, and all of the retro kunio-kun games. You can also find this game in the arcade and on the Sharp X68000. However, we will be focusing on the NES. There are many differences between the arcade and the NES versions, one of the biggest being in the NES you can choose which team you want. The teams are in pairs. For example, you have George and Murphy, who are well balanced, Al and John, who are powerful but slow with poor defense, Billy and Jimmy, and yes, that is the same Billy and Jimmy from the Double Dragon series. They are the best defensive players in the game, making them my favorite team. I always pick defense over offense. And the last team is Ed and Michael. They are fast with average spiking power. Using Game Genie codes, you can access female teams that were never made selectable in the public release. They have full character models and are fully playable, but they are missing their profile photos, resulting in a pixelated mess. I don't know the exact reason why they were removed, but I think it would have been cool to include these female teams. There are also some regional differences. I won't name them all because some are very minor and some are just cosmetic. For example, the Japanese version puts the difficulty setting right in the options, while the international version turns them into 3 different courses. In one of the more interesting changes, the Japanese version has support for the Hori trackball, which was only released in Japan. The international version of Super Spike V-Ball did actually have support for it, but it was hidden as a cheat code. Probably as a backup plan in case the Hori trackball controller was released outside of Japan, they can say their game already has support. A good way to think ahead. Too bad the controller never saw the light of day outside of the land of the rising sun. Another change in the game I found funny was the fact they swapped 2 names in the game. The international version, as stated earlier, features George and Murphy on one team and Ed and Michael on another. Well, the Japanese version is a little different. George and Michael are on one team, a reference to George Michael, and the other team is Ed and Murphy, another reference but this time for Eddie Murphy. The gameplay is solid. You may lose a game every now and then, but it will not be because of bad controls. The controls are rather simple. You have a jump button and a hit button. There really isn't much more to the controls than that. You can quickly tap the jump button over and over to charge the spike for a super spike, and then send your opponent flying. A lot like Super Dodgeball. When it comes to the soundtrack, it has a kunio-kun type of feel, which actually fits the game very well. Maybe I'll do a 5-minute review on just the soundtrack one day, but right now I will say it has a certain groove with almost a jazz or a blues feel on certain songs. I do like it. Overall, this is a great game. Yes, it's a sport game, but you don't have to be a sports fan to enjoy it. I am not really a fan of volleyball. I can't name one professional or even amateur player. But this game transcends the sport. It's an enjoyable experience all around. It is one of the few games to support 4 players on the NES console, and it was one of the main reasons why I got an NES satellite. I recommend this game to anyone with an NES, sports fan or not. Anyone who is into competition might enjoy this game. Super Spike V-Ball receives the ICC stamp of approval. I am ICC. Thanks for watching. Peace.